Hello everyone. If you like my video, please subscribe, like and share it for watching upcoming videos. Thank you. Hello students. I hope everyone is doing well. Today I am going to start a new lesson, element compounds and mixtures. In this chapter I am going to discuss today about elements. Before I start this topic, let me discuss and give some introduction about the various types of substances that is surrounding us. We know millions of substances in this world, like various types of substances like iron, water, common salt, our air are always there. They are different from each other, but they are always surrounding us, and they differ from each other also in their composition, in their properties and in their uses also. So why they differ from each other? Because they are made up of different kinds of matter, and they can be pure also, can be impure also. In the lower classes you have learned that substances have been broadly classified into pure substance and impure substance. So let us define first what are pure substance and what are impure substance. Pure substance. Now let us see the definition of pure and impure substance. What is pure substance? Pure substance have a definite composition. That means they have a definite composition throughout the substance and have a definite set of properties. Definite set of properties means what? Have a fixed melting point, fixed boiling point, fixed density. They cannot change at any other circumstances. Now they are all homogeneous in nature. Now you have learned, students, in the lower classes, what is homogeneous. Homogeneous means uniform composition. That means components or constituents are uniformly distributed throughout the substance. That means throughout that substance it has been uniformly distributed. That means everywhere you will get the same component from where you are breaking the compound. So example coming under this, under the pure substance, elements and compounds are the very good example. Elements, any elements you can take, like iron, silver, any element you can take, compound, water, carbon dioxide, you can take any example of this. So in this, today we are going to learn this element in details in this session. Now before I start this elements, let us discuss the impure substance also. Then what is impure substance? Impure substance just behave the opposite of this. They are made up of two or more pure substances mixed together. Mixed means they are physically mixing together in varied proportion. Varied proportion means any ratio they will mix together. And they do not have a definite set of properties. That means their melting point, boiling point will be not fixed. If you change the ratio, then boiling point will be increase or decrease. So they retain the properties of the constituents of the substance. In the mixture, whatever the components are present, they will never lose their identity. Now fourth point is there, that they can be homogeneous, can be heterogeneous. Let us take some example of this. Homogeneous you know very well, sugar solution, salt solution, and sand and salt. It is an example of what? Heterogeneous mixture. Our air is also there, that it is a mixture of several types of gases. Okay, so can be homogeneous, can be heterogeneous. So these are the common two difference between the pure and the impure substance. In the pure substance, we are going to learn the elements today in details. Now let us define elements. So element is a pure substance that cannot be divided further into simpler substance than itself by any physical or chemical processes. That means it is so simple and so that it cannot be divided into more simpler than itself. So by any method, whether you take a physical method to make it divided or chemical, it cannot be divided. Example you take of our daily use examples like iron, gold, silver, copper. So these are the various types of examples you can take. Any non-metals also you can take, oxygen, hydrogen. Like this, you can take many examples of our day-to-day life. Now this is about the element. Now this element is made up of a unit is known as atom. Now what is atom? Atom is the smallest particle of an element. So atoms are the smallest units, you can say, or particles, you can say, of an element. In an element, all atoms are same, all are alike. So if you take a coin, iron coin, if you take, then they are made up of atoms. It is a solid. So if you take out any of the atoms from the iron, suppose if I take this atom or this atom, they are all same. Okay, they are all identical. So atoms of a particular elements are all same. So what is the smallest unit of an element? Atoms. And they are so small that they cannot be seen through naked eye. They need a powerful microscope to be observed. At present, how many elements are known to us? At present, 118 elements are known to us, has been discovered by the scientists. Out of this, 92 elements are naturally occurred. Now, out of this, remaining is the 26 elements. 26 elements are artificially developed in the lab by the scientist. Okay. So, these are the common idea I am giving you about the elements. Now, some elements are, some are in solid. You know that elements are, some are solid, some are liquid, some are gases. So elements found in three forms only. Actually elements are what? They are the pure substance from which millions of substances can be made up of. So it is the basic substance. So elements can be told as a basic substance from which millions of substances can be made up out of this. The classification of elements. What are the basic classification of elements are there? So based on their properties, on what basis the classification has been done? On the basis of their properties. The elements have been classified into 4 major types. Okay. What are the 4 major types? That is, first is the metals, second is the non-metals, third is the metalloids, and fourth is the inert gases. Now let us discuss one by one about the metals. Whatever the qualities we will see for the metals, in the lower classes also you have learned in details about the 4 classification of elements. Most of the elements are known to us, that are maximum are metals. Okay, they are very large in numbers. Various properties you have learned in the lower classes. Since you have learned all the physical properties of the metals in the lower classes, so they have not been discussed in this chapter since they are known to you. So these are the qualities already known, and opposite of the metals are the non-metals characteristics, like they are dull in nature, they are not good conductor of electricity, they are soft solids, some are gases and one is liquid, and then they are non-sonorous, then they are not having fixed melting and boiling point. Like this many points are there, you have to go through them. Some examples you can take, like gold, silver, tin, lead, iron, aluminium, very known to us, copper. Similarly, with the non-metal also, they, compared to metals, they are less in numbers. Okay, they are less in number, and less in number, as well as you know they are the special, inert gases are the special type of non-metal, but they are also non-metal because they are gases. So some examples you can take: hydrogen, oxygen, chlorine, then like this many types of gases you can take the name. Okay, and please remember the exceptions also which you have learned in the lower classes. Now coming to the metalloids. Metalloids also what is the special features of the metalloids? That they contain both the properties of metals and non-metals, and they are generally solids. Okay, now some examples you can take of metalloids also: boron, silicon, germanium. Okay, like this you remember 7 to 8 members are there. Inert gases, they are 6 in numbers, found in traces in the air, and they have special uses in our life, and out of which argon is the maximum in the air compared to the other gases. So why they are inert gases? Because they are chemically inactive. So much inactive that they don't form any combination with any other elements or compounds. So they are totally inactive and they don't chemically react with any other elements and compounds. So they are also known as noble gases, inert gases, and inactive gases. They are 6 in number. Some example you can give: neon, argon, okay, xenon, Okay students, so in this way you can learn from your book also the general classification of elements. Now coming to the symbols of elements. Let us see how elements are symbolized. Now what do you understand by the term symbols? Symbols means general abbreviation to understand the name of the element. So we know all the names of the elements like hydrogen, oxygen, then sodium, lead. So many names of the elements we know in our life which come across. Now they are, if we start writing the full names of them, it will consume time also and it will consume space also, and it is not possible to write everywhere the full name of them. So it needs short abbreviation forms in order to symbolize them. So what is the symbol? So all elements have been symbolized on the basis of their first alphabet of the name. Some elements have been symbolized. Some of the elements have been symbolized on the basis of their Latin name or Greek name, and on the basis of this we will see that how they have been symbolized. Why symbols are required to be named? On what basis symbols will be given to elements? Suppose hydrogen. Hydrogen, the first symbol, the first characteristics of writing of the symbol property, that each element's first letter of the symbol will be capital letter. Okay, and if second letter comes in writing the name of the symbol, then it should be always small letter. Third point is what? Many of the symbols you will see they start with the same letter. Let us see some example. Like if I write carbon, if I write calcium, if I write cobalt, they are all elements. If I write chlorine, if I write copper. So you can see here all the letters are starting with the first letter with the C, which is common for everyone. So it is a very confusing. Then if I write the first symbol of each, then it cannot be understand whether it is carbon or calcium or chlorine or copper. It cannot be understand. Then second letter is very essential here. If I write only C, then it is understood to be carbon. If it is C, capital C and small a, then it is understood to be calcium. If it is a capital C and small o, then it is understood to be cobalt. If it is capital C and small l, then it is understood to be chlorine. If it is capital C and small u, it is understood to be copper. You will be observing here that here I am writing copper, CO is not given here. It is given here Cu. Why? Because few of the elements name has been taken from their Latin name. Copper Latin name you will be seeing from your book also. It is given there. Please learn them. The name of the table 3.2 you will refer. Okay, and learn them nicely. And you will see that few of the elements come from their Latin name, from which copper Latin name is cuprum. So what happened? Cuprum, first two letters have been taken. Similarly here lead, plumbum, PB has been taken from there. Okay, similarly sodium is the name is actually natrium. Okay, so Na has been taken as a sodium symbol. So not all the elements are following this rule. Few of the elements you have to remember those. Okay students, so symbols are very much necessary to write the short abbreviation form of each elements. So it will be easy for us to remember them also and to write them also in a short way. Now the third point also says us that if I write the symbol of the elements, it represents one atom of that particular element. Let us see then how it is telling. If I write only Ca, that means how many atoms is present there? Only one atom of calcium is there. If I write only Na, it is one atom of sodium is there. If I write H, then it is one atom of hydrogen is there. If I write H2, then how many atoms are there? Two atoms are present in the hydrogen. Understand? Here O3, that means how many atoms are there? 3 atoms are there. And if I write only H, only Cl, then how many atoms are there? They are having one atoms in each. A symbol represents always one atom of that particular element. So students, this is all about the elements which has been discussed in your book also. I have also discussed with you. So please try to read them now from your book, many of which you have already done in the lower classes in details. So try to learn them nicely. That's all for today. Have a good day. Thank you.